Hello, Sunnyside. It's been a while since I came before you to share some things with you that I think that you just really might want to know. With the upcoming election, I thought this was the ideal time to just share some information with you, okay? If you are a registered voter, by now, you should have received this packet, okay? Every registered voter in California will receive a voter by mail packet. Now, when you look in it, do know that the packet this time really covers some 6 pages. And I'm going to give you permission right now so that you won't feel threatened by it all. Just go through and fill out those things that you feel most comfortable in filling out. But again, there are all kinds of things that are covered. And at the same time, do know that they really are important. Your vote really is important. Now, not only should you have received this, okay, that was one of the first things that came out. You should have also have received a book like this, okay, your sample ballot, okay? And it gives you information in it regarding everything, okay? Not only that, see, that's the way this session is going to go this time. Okay, not only that, you should have received a general election booklet, all right? So take your time, okay? It explains each and everything that's listed in terms of propositions and all, okay, arguments in favor of and against, okay, why you should and should not vote in a certain direction. If you are a registered voter, by now, you should have received, just all kinds of information in the mail. All kinds of information, okay? Encouraging you to vote for a particular person, for a particular proposition, okay? For a particular office, okay? So just bear that in mind. Thurgood Marshall once said, choose your own goals. Listen to others, but don't become a blind follower. So as you get all of this information, try and digest it, okay? And vote what you feel is in the best interest of you as well as your community. Years ago, when I first started doing this do no session, one of my neighbors, really one of my elderly neighbors, showed me how to best organize this information. And I happened to have kept it. She suggested then that as the information would come, list the organizations then that actually sent the information out to you. And then she also suggested that you write down the names or the numbers then of the propositions and all of that, and go through it and check off each one, whether they were in favor of something or whether or not they were against it. I thought this was a really good idea, and I used it the first time, okay? And I must admit, Jackie, I'm sorry, I did not use it this time. But again, I have been bombarded with information, and perhaps you have been also. One of the things I received this time then, and this was by actually dropping into one of the offices, this card says the last day to register to vote is October the 21st. Same day voter registration is available in your county elections office or voting locations after the voter registration deadline, up to and including Election Day. Election Day is November 5th. On October the 26th is the first day vote centers are open for early in-person voting. at our church here at Sunnyside, I understand that this coming Sunday, so hopefully this will be up by then, you can actually come to Sunnyside and really cast your ballot. If you have not registered to vote, okay, chances are you will be able to register and vote here at Sunnyside, all right? And if not, please just make me aware and just let me know then that I made a mistake. But on November the 5th, that's the last day to vote in person or return a vote by mail ballot by 8 p.m. Okay, the hours of the polls are, they open at 7 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. Okay, and vote by mail ballots must be postmarked no later than November 5th. It is anticipated then that it just takes some time for us to get the final results of the election this time. All right. I have signed up to work at my home and fill out some postcards, okay? And I need to get these postcards in the mail. It says, "We love our kids more than anything. Vote for our freedoms, our families, our futures," okay? And these cards go out to people across the nation, okay? If you have relatives that live in different states, you may want to just call and encourage them to make sure that they take the time to vote. And I'm going to stop talking about that at this point. But I need to make sure before I go home today to put these cards in the mail. You may receive some too. Okay. Any number of organizations will send out suggestions. Okay. We'll send out suggestions as to who to vote for and how to actually vote. Okay. I don't know if I've held this up before or not. Again, I have so much information. It's important, however, that you look at who is sending the information out, what they're telling you, and is it really in your best interest to follow their suggestions? I attended the thing down Crenshaw, was a Taste of Soul this past weekend, and I actually had the opportunity to meet some of the candidates who were running for office, okay? I got up that morning and found one of the signs in my yard. And I thought my son had put it there, but actually he gave permission to one of the candidates that he knew to actually come over and put a yard sign in our yard. And while at the Taste of Soul, at the thing down on Crenshaw this past Saturday, I had a chance to actually meet the person that was running for office, okay? As you get information, at one time, Maxine Waters would send out a form, and she would tell you on her form who to consider voting for, okay, and different measures and all. And I didn't receive it this year. And that has been some conversation between people in my quilting group. Okay, but I did receive this one, and it was interesting. They suggest the people that you should recommend or that they're recommending to vote and the different propositions, how to vote for them. Now, a lot of my information I get from KBLA, and anytime I hear that there is information about an upcoming election, it really catches my attention, and I have a habit of just taking notes. And as it turns out thus far, in most instances, the information that I've received for the different propositions, in most instances, from Proposition 2 through 6, in most instances, they're saying yes. And the ones that have numbers on them, Proposition 32, 33, 32, 33, and 35, those are yeses, but 34 and 36 are no. And it's interesting that as I look through them, thus far, they're making some of the same suggestions. If you have someone that you can actually discuss the whole idea of voting with, you may want to consider, how do they feel about this? Okay, have a discussion. But again, once you get into once you get the opportunity to actually cast your vote, you decide. You decide. You are the decision maker. So just be aware of that. Again, this is a notice that came out. Again, I was just saying, yes, 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 yes. Okay. This is from the California Democratic Party, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 32, 33, 35, yes. And the ones that they have no also are 34 and 36. Again, you are the one. Once you go into that, we call it the voting booth. Once you go into that booth, you are the ones that decide. Okay? You may have received information like this. And again, consider the source. Consider the source. Okay? This is a slate from the Sentinel newspaper. All right. Do you think then that the Sentinel would suggest something to our community that is perhaps not in your best interest, not in my best interest? Okay. So this is one that I would consider following. Maybe you won't. Okay. But that is your choice. For president, okay, for the House of Representatives, okay. I won't take the time to read all this, but maybe we can get a picture of this, or you can call the Sentinel and ask, where can you get a copy so that it will show everyone that's running, okay, who they are suggesting. In the past, I've received a page like this from the LA Times, but I think we kind of stopped that. But realize then that there are different newspapers then that will tell you, they will offer suggestions as to who to vote for. All right. Surprised I'm getting through most of this information. As of the 21st, which is really today, that will be one of the last times then that you can actually fill this out and really mail it. Okay, they're going to be watching the post date. They're going to watch when the date that it was actually mailed to see whether or not then you are a registered voter. But again, the question is, if you're not receiving things in the mail, you are not perhaps considered a registered voter. One of the ways that you can check is to call 866-OUR-VOTE. That's 866-OUR-VOTE. And that's something that's put out by the voter protection team of the NAACP. Okay? All right. Be aware of that. Again, the question you need to ask in voting is, how does that really benefit me? Really, might that benefit my family? Would that benefit my community? Okay. The last thing I have here is, it reminded me, going back in time, going back in history, being from Birmingham, Alabama, as they were getting ready to do the large program in Washington, D.C., where Dr. King gave his speech, the I Have a Dream speech, there were buses that were available. And it was just a matter of going and getting on the bus. And you could go there for free and come back home. So when I saw this, this came as an email where they were in Arizona. Harris Waltz has an Arizona bus trip, and they're looking for volunteers. And if you'd like to go for a free trip to actually volunteer, to actually go to Arizona and knock on some doors. This was dated October the 11th. But at the bottom, it says, if you are not available October the 11th, you can also sign up for another trip. We have trips scheduled for the next 4 Fridays. So again, they're doing things too that was done back in history, done in time. If you'd like some information regarding this, okay, just see me or just call. Okay, I'm going to take a break right now and pull out some quilts, which will emphasize the fact then that it's not so much how you vote as it is to let you know the importance of your vote. I have some quilts with you that I brought to share with you. Some 4 years ago at the last election, my quilt guild, African American Quilters of Los Angeles, I challenged them to create a mini, M-I-N-I, quilt to place in a place so that words of encouragement could be shared, okay? Encouraging people to vote. All right, now, you may not agree with some of the words on here, but at the same time, the whole point of this quilt is to let you know that your vote is not something that you always were able to take advantage of. Today, all you need to do is fill out a little form, sign your name to a little piece of paper, okay? But someone actually, in many instances, shed blood so that you might have that right, all right? I'm going to start with this one first, okay? And again, blood was shed, sacrifices have been made, show respect, vote. And that is a result of this comment. Elbert Williams was lynched in Brownsville, Tennessee in 1940 for working to register Black voters as part of the local NAACP. 1940. I was born in 1947, so it was not that long ago. Not that long ago. Okay. Another, and again, Jack Turner was lynched in Butler, Alabama in 1882 for organizing Black voters in Choctaw County. On this one, I said, I will vote to show respect for his sacrifice, so that you can sign your name to a piece of paper. Okay. Continuing on. After Calvin Mike voted in Calhoun County, Georgia in 1884, a white mob attacked and burned his home, lynching his elderly mother and his 2 young daughters, Emily and Lily. On this one, I say, acknowledge his effort, register and vote. And I have to kind of make sure that I don't get overly excited about this, because at one time I found myself literally screaming after reading all of this. We were beaten, tear gassed, trampled by horses, and left bloody on that bridge in Selma. But we cannot rest. We cannot become weary. We must honor those who gave their lives for the right to vote. These are the words of Congressman John Lewis, civil rights leader, who died within like the last year or two. My own words. Many of the rights and privileges we now enjoy came about because of the sacrifice of others, Sidney Hurd. Homes bombed, churches bombed, Black children killed. Voter suppression is real. Then I have the states of Texas, Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky. When I shared this yesterday at a meeting, some people went on to name some other states that were left out. But I was just giving examples of places where your vote is really being toyed with, okay? In some instances, it's just a matter of just questioning that person's right to vote, and they will literally take your name off the rolls, okay? It must be something about our vote. Must be something, or they would not be working so hard to make sure that it's not counted, okay? As I vote, okay, I tend to have really a competition with my relatives, with my sons, okay, to see who's actually going to get down and register. I mean, not register, actually going to vote earliest. And I really feel like, to me, I wait until the last day to vote, because I feel like the sacrifices that were made on my behalf, the least I can do is go and stand in a line and actually cast my vote. That's just me. And I also feel then that the closer we get to election day, the more information will come through, and I'll feel just a bit more comfortable in casting my vote about perhaps a certain individual or a proposition or something that appears on the ballot. So this is a combination of not only some of my ballots, but some of my household's ballots is also. Your vote is your voice. Speak, scream, vote. And here you see a number of receipts that I received after voting, okay? Finally, okay, yeah, I'll say this will be the final one. In terms of your power, use it, show it, vote, okay? Again, out of respect, out of the sacrifice of others, I really encourage you, even if you just go and just mark 1 or 2 things on this 6-page ballot, please do that as a means of showing respect for those who actually sacrifice their lives. In many instances, not voluntarily, but they sacrifice their lives on our behalf. Thank you so much.